Good afternoon. It's November the 16th, I guess. I'm down here in South Albert. I just dropped off my car. So we're going to walk down here today, and then I'm going to find some place to sit and work for a while I wait for them to get it ready. I don't want to cross the street, so we'll go up the sidewalk here. Walk up South Albert and go up a ways and then loop around over to the east and then come back. There's a pub up the way here that I might go to for my writing exercise this afternoon, writing, publishing. I'm actually working on I'll probably do some writing, but I'm also working on my next book for Shadow Press, which is called The Crow Who Tampered with Time, which despite its name is not science fiction. It's a collection of essays by Lloyd Ratzlaff, Saskatoon author. Highly praised when it came out, and let's give it a chance to get back out there after being deemed out of print by its original publisher, which is the whole purpose of Shadow Press Reprise, is new editions of notable previously published work. Already had my lunch. It's unusual for me to drop the car off in the afternoon, but it's just service and checking the battery. We've been getting intermittent low battery warnings, so I'm going to get that checked. This is the stuff that's down here. I've walked down here a few times, not recently. Commercial strip. Changes a bit from time to time as new things go in. I often get my car washed here, if you care. Winter running gear has arrived. Well, I'm not going to do any winter running. I've been in a few things in there. The cottage is a restaurant. I haven't been in there in years. Still going, I guess. There's a few other things. The India House here, once upon a time, was, I think this was the keg before it became India House, if I remember right. Or it was something else. I don't know. A lot of these restaurants will change names without warning, it seems like. Anyway, Indian restaurant. I think I've been in there since it became an Indian restaurant, actually. It was a steakhouse before that. Maybe it wasn't the keg, it was something else. A&W, been an A&W there a long time, but they completely refurbished it a few years ago. It used to be 2 stories tall. Big co-op gas station here. They also have a car wash. Sometimes I've gone up one side, gone down the other, but I'm not going to do that today. Hopefully the mic's okay where it is. Keep an eye on it. I'm afraid it might pop off because of the way it's connected, but it seems to be okay. Sound seems to be pretty good with the new wireless mic. I had it quite a bit lower than I normally would wear it yesterday, and it seemed to work fine, so that was good to discover. Grocery store over there. It used to be a Sobeys, I think. Now it's called Freshco. Another example of things that seem to change without warning. Country music station in here. Your Country 92.7. Oh, this used to be the keg. That's right. And it still is the keg. No, this is the new keg. Maybe that was the old keg, and now this is the new keg. Well, that one must have been Earl's originally. That's right. How could I forget that? think so. I think that used to be Earl's. We used to go there all the time. There's a new Earl's over here somewhere. Newer. The old one is where I remember going with the cast of Marriage of Figaro after the Sask Opera production. Remember the soprano singing Happy Birthday to somebody sitting on his lap. And I remember us going into the kitchen and singing one of the rousing choruses. I actually had a non-singing part in that show, but it went over really well. It was a acting comic character, a servant, and I actually got really good review for that performance, which annoyed. So I recall one of the organizers who actually said to the person who got a good review, the local person who got a good review in the newspaper, that it was too bad that I had gotten that review when they brought in all these singers from out of town. How come they hadn't gotten as favorable a notice? And I thought, really? Do you have any idea how that makes you sound? And how insulting that is? But that's the theater for you. What is that? They were building it. It used to be a brew pub. Now it has an infinity sign on it. It's clearly Canadian Blood Services. Oh, I never saw that coming. I was hoping it was going to be another restaurant or another, just a different brew pub. But yeah, Canadian Blood Services, at least one of the things that's in that building. May not be the whole building. Yeah, it used to be Brewster's. It's in there quite a few times for this and that. This here is the Atlas Hotel. This is where our upcoming show with Regina Lyric Musical Theatre is going to be celebrating our Sapphire anniversary, our 45th anniversary. We'll be here on December the 1st. If you're in Regina, you should come. I will be singing. In fact, I have rehearsal tonight. Another hotel that has changed names many times. It has water slides. It's very popular for like kids' birthday parties and stuff. Mostly when I've been here, it's been for a kid's birthday party or once in a while for a banquet or meeting. It used to have an Irish pub in the back called the Blarney Stone, I think it was called. As I've mentioned before, that's where I remember getting Guinness spilled on me after we had ducked out of a symphony orchestra to come see the Arrogant Worms perform there. And it was a great concert, but at one point a waitress managed to spill a pint of Guinness on me. At least partially on me. Oof. So the pub's down there. It seems to be called the Knotted Thistle Pub now. I suppose that's a possibility for a place to write. There's a coffee shop on the other side of the street, but I don't want to cross the hours. So I don't know if there's one over here anywhere. There used to be one in here. I guess it's still there. Not very conducive to writing that one though. Magpie, I think it's called. Magpie. Once upon a time, this was Book and Briar, our favorite bookstore. When Alice was little, we'd come down here and she'd look at books and we'd get a cinnamon bun and a latte. My wife and mother-in-law and I, little Alice. It was good. But eventually it went away. And this one, which says it's for lease, at least on one side, it is now the lingerie shop. It's a Blockbuster. We still rented videotapes, which we haven't done for a while. Another hotel. The restaurant is now called Steele's. It used to be something else too, because this used to be the West Harvest Inn. I had breakfast there the morning of my wedding. Remember that? It was 25 years ago. What was it called, whatever it's called now. Trademark it's called. Royal Hotel. Trademark, it says. So is it the Royal Hotel or is it called Trademark? Okay, I'm going to turn right up here just to stretch this out a bit. We'll go down into the more residential area just to the right of here, east of here. Then I'll work my way down, come back down from the far end of South Albert here. And I think I'm going to go into the London Bell pub here, which is not one I've ever been in, and see if it might be a place where I could sit and write when I'm waiting for the car. Right there. I have no idea what it's like inside, but so it may not be at all what I'm looking for, but we'll find out. But first, we'll go this way. For one thing, it's nice to have the wind behind me because it was pretty windy there along the street. This is, what is this? Yeah, this is Parliament Avenue. We are now walking along. Pretty busy street as well, as you can tell. The cars zipping past me. So far, I don't think anybody has tuned in live, so I'm talking to myself, but you're probably watching this as a recording if you're listening to me. I plan to go all the way down. There's a stop sign at the end down here. Oh, I could cross over on this, at this crosswalk here, I guess. I'm careful. There's no light, but it is a crosswalk, so if I get hit, at least it's their fault. You know, not particularly comforting, I suppose. There's apartment buildings along here and on the other side. Martin Luther Manor. Never knew Martin Luther lived in Regina. Him go through the crosswalk there. I wonder if I got reporting with that video evidence. He had plenty of time to stop. He just wasn't interested in obeying the crosswalk. I wonder if you could report somebody. You have video evidence. He clearly had time to stop. When you're a pedestrian, you start to get way more... let's go this way. It's probably a crescent, but when you're a pedestrian, you have you get way more sensitive to that sort of thing. So now we're in a residential area, just like that. Sidewalks nicely cleared on this side, so we'll walk along along here. Much more sheltered down in here too, which is nice. Oh, I do see some YouTube numbers there, so somebody's watching. Hello, whoever you are. Big tree here. I tell you where I am, but I don't have a clue what street I'm on or which way it goes up here. It might just lead me back. I think it does. That's okay. I have no plan here really except to kind of wend my way down toward Thereabouts, I guess, is the high school that's on 25th, a little further north. And then get back onto South Albert and walk back the other way, so I at least show off the couple of blocks I didn't get to walking north. And then I'll go check out the London Bell and see if it's a place I can write. And if not, if I don't like it, I'll go on down a little further to the Knotted Thistle, which has the advantage of being closer to where I left the car, I guess. So if you're just joining me, I dropped off the car at OK Tire down here, and now I'm just putting in my walk in a different place than usual, because I've been stuck close to home quite a bit, so I do want to vary it when I can. It's just going to bend me around to the west again, looks like. I say this is a 60s neighborhood, probably. Maybe 70s, maybe 50s, but let's call it 60s. Oh, that looks like our car, but it's not. Our other car, my second car, not the one that's in the shop today. We have a Volvo of that same color and roughly the same vintage. For our second car, bought it used. Pretty good deal though. It was $7,000. It only had what? It had fewer kilometers on it than our newer car did when I got it, and still does, because we've driven the other one so much more. So it's 20 years old and has like barely 50,000 miles on it. Power's working on something here. I don't want to go that way because I'll run into them. So, oh, yeah, there's the boulders. So actually, I didn't get nearly as far. Didn't extend this nearly as far as I thought I was. I've still only done 20 minutes. So what do I do? I'll probably just cut it shorter. It's not very exciting down here anyway. And probably about the time I get where I'm going, it'll be about half an hour. Could walk down that way, but then I'd be doubling back in a way. So let's go on down 25th here. There's Albert up there again where the lights are. Is this a school as well? Doesn't seem to have a lot of cars parked here if it is. Maybe it's an old school. Or a church. Oh, I guess it's a church, probably. An old church. Looking at that auditorium, yeah. A church, not a school. Oh, and there's a cross on it. Dead giveaway. John the Baptist. And it would be the boldest. There's a separate school, so there's always a church close at hand. I guess I could go over here and walk a little bit through the retirement village over here. Hopefully nobody minds. Marion Gardens. There used to be a school here called Marion, that's why this is called Marion Gardens. And now it's basically a retirement community, I guess you'd call it. With the boldest again right over there. A nice little gazebo in the middle here of this courtyard. We'll just take a stroll around it, I guess. And we'll get back to Albert and walk back down south. Looks like the sidewalk ends here, though. Nice little gazebo in the middle of the courtyard here. Did know somebody that lived in one of these buildings. What happens at this sidewalk? Can I carry on by if I walk along it? It looks like it. Up the steps and down the steps for some reason. Oh, it's because there's an underground parking entrance under us here. Down the steps. No point going that way. And this will bring us back to Albert, and that's where I will turn around and head south again. So, but that stretched it out a few more minutes here. I think Marion Chateau is where our friend lived, because it's more like a apartment building, and the others are more like condos. So I used to pick her up here and drop her off. She was quite elderly, but she liked to go to some of the musical theater productions that I was involved in. We would pick her up here and bring her back, of course. It's been a while now, and she's no longer with us. Once I get up here, I'll turn around and head south, because I've now brought it out to 23 minutes, so it'll certainly be half an hour by the time I get back down to where I'm going to see about riding. Up next is the Regina Christian School and its grounds. See, the complex goes on back into there. But we're turning around now, heading south. It's quite warm today. It's -4, which may not sound warm to you, depending on where you live, but -4 Celsius. So that's about 25 Fahrenheit, I guess. What the heck is Riveralicious? Must be the food service here in, because Rivera is like the company that owns this place. Here you go, Rivera Retirement Living. Ask us about our move-in offers. Not there yet. Hopefully never there. I can see the appeal after a time though. But expect to be in our house for many years to come. That's why we're still working on renovating it. Built a deck this year.
Hi.
Hello. He was wearing fuzzy slippers, which is an odd thing to be wearing while walking out here. They would have come from the boldest, I'm sure. High school. And here again is where the residential area abruptly turns to commercial here on South Albert. Once I get down to the London Bell up there, I will stop. That will be a smallish loop, but still would have gotten us here at least. Looks like I hit the crosswalk light too, which is nice. Saw how effective the pedestrian crossing was earlier when the guy just blew through it and would have run over me if I kept walking. You can go back and review that, pick up his license plate, call the Regina City Police, see if they'll take action on something you saw in a YouTube video. Wasn't that surprising? It's the Golden Mile Center. It used to be called. It's called something else now. Smart Centers, I guess. I don't know. It's still the Golden Mile as far as I'm concerned, but that's not what it's called anymore. This grocery store is under redevelopment. Go up here. It was a Safeway before that. Something else that seems to change names regularly. What else is in here? India Market. I occasionally have people from India walking with me. So here's an Indian food store. Robin's Donuts. There used to be a wine store over there, but it's something else now. Maybe that's where the India Market is. Yes, it is. I knew that. Liquor store over there. Our government-run liquor stores are closing down and being privatized, so we're all curious to see what that means going forward. Why did we have government-run liquor stores to begin with? Because Tommy Douglas, who was a socialist, was elected in the Anabaptist preacher, and he was elected in the 50s, late 40s into the 50s. He disapproved of drinking. So apparently, I don't remember this before my time, but at the time, if you wanted to buy alcohol, you had to go to a dumpy sort of window and fill out a form and request what you wanted, and some government employee would go into the back and come out and give it to you. So it all seemed very sleazy in a way. And I'm sure that was the Baptist preacher side of Tommy Douglas. As a young man, he was in favor of eugenics and not allowing, mental defectives, as they called them then, to breed and that sort of thing. That's all kind of, you're not supposed to talk about that because he's now considered one of the greatest Canadians because he kind of got socialized medicine started, Medicare. But he was no saint. I met him once because he was from Weyburn and he came for an event there, and I took a picture of him opening the door of his old church, which is still there. It's up on South Hill in Weyburn and is a performing arts center now. And went out and listened to him give a speech, which was just one of the speeches he'd given for years. He was a good speaker. I disagreed with him politically, but I enjoyed meeting him. I didn't interview him exactly. I just remember taking his picture. But we're going to go in here. So this is where I'll end. And we'll see if this is a place where I can write while I wait for the car to be done. So thanks for walking with me and witnessing the fellow that ran through the pedestrian crosswalk. One of the hazards of being a pedestrian. Tomorrow I'm off to Saskatoon, so I probably won't be walking again until Sunday at the earliest. It might not be till Monday. So thanks for walking with me, and